Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming. So we're going to make an attempt at answering these questions for the Q&A video. I'm going to apologize for a few things in advance. One being any dog barking that you hear in the background is probably my father-in-law's dog, Sassy. Dogs are supposed to bark, but this dog barks at every squirrel that farts the wrong way, and I tell you what, I could just wring her neck right about now. But my wife, I've instructed her if the dog barks for like 5 straight minutes to go out there and just yell at her. And I tell you what, she yells a lot louder than I do. In general, I'm a pretty quiet guy, but my wife is not. So you may hear that happen. Also, there may be flies flying around my head. I've killed a few already, but yesterday was such a nice day. I just opened the doors and let the breeze come through. And I mean, it was like 65, 70 degrees and had a light breeze in the air. And I tell you what, just I didn't realize how many flies were getting in here. And like I said, I've killed a few of them, but I've smacked my desks a few too many times. My hand's getting a little sore. In fact, this desk right here has actually got a crack in it, but I didn't crack it with my hand. But anyways, we're going to start this. I'm actually going to start a timer. I'm going to do about 20 minutes worth of answering questions, and then I'll probably take a break or stop and do another video, do like a part one, part two, if it takes that long. But I think it will because there's a lot of pages here. I couldn't even staple it. I don't have any high-tech stapler or anything like that, but you know it should be able to staple if it's 15 pages or less, and this is definitely not that. So I'm going to hit the start button. All right, so that I put a timer on for 20 minutes, and I'm going to answer these bottom up, page back to front. That way I answer the questions that were asked first, and I'm going to read them mostly the whole way through. So this is from Eskazoid Cards and Bootleg. The very first question: do you think in the end? Question mark. I mean, do you already think what going to happen with all the treasures you are holding when you know you die or stop collecting or you stop collecting? I'm sorry if this question it's gross, but at the same time I think it's a deep question because you know all of us are actually holding tons of cardboard pieces, but we can't stay forever next to them watching how they become old. We are static. And when you have a massive volume of collectibles, probably a big percentage of your collection are going to survive you. That's my question. What do you think when you think about the end? Thanks as always. So I think maybe he's asking like what my end game is or what would happen, you know, after I pass. For me, I've already set up I have people in place for my wife to contact if I was to pass away for whatever reason unexpectedly, that she can contact and she can sell this product. There's a lot of things that I have that are set up automatically. She would have to end certain things like eBay and my Patreon. She'd have to end that and a few other things. But for the most part, she knows that she can send everything to Troll and Toad if she wanted to and just sell everything there. That'd be kind of cool seeing all of these collectibles flood there at once. But I've actually got someone I trust in the hobby that I've told her to reach out to if, you know, something like that ever happens. That way she can just get their guidance on it and she'll be taken care of for a little bit while she tries to find a job or whatever happens like that. Whether or not, you know, say I died, you know, like 80 years old, I don't actually picture myself having all of this stuff, you know, at that age. I do see maybe one day having a way of, you know, selling this stuff out, but for now I'm just enjoying the hobby. I don't know how I would even sell all this stuff. I mean, there's so many different things I collect that it's not just one person that could really buy everything unless somebody won the lottery and they're like, hey, I want to buy everything that you have because I've got a lot of money and I want to be surrounded with all the same stuff. Like that'd be the only way everything would get gone all at once. I mean, it would take decades now just for me to piece out each piece and to sell it to the right person. Next up from Dweebenheim. Do you like bananas? I like bananas. Nathan Pounds asks, I have a question. What do you think about PSA cert numbers? What I mean is I have a Dark Charizard Team Rocket set and the number is 44 million plus. Would you be interested? It's a 44,890,000-ish. Perfect, no print lines or whitening or nicks on the corners. Okay, so yeah, I would be interested if it's PSA graded. I mean, PSA 10 is what I go for normally in Dark Charizard. It's a relatively easy card to grade, but the prices have gotten higher. I was buying them as much as I could, like candy, when they were priced at $500 for like 2-3 years there. Now I think they're getting closer to the $1,000 mark, 800 to 1,000. But actually being in the 44 million cert number, actually, to me, that's a plus. It's got the new case, so it's going to have the cert number on the front and the back. It's newer, so the case will probably not have as many scratches or not be as likely to have those same scratches. And then on top of that, I think PSA grade stuffer now. They were before it was more inconsistent. I remember thinking to myself, a PSA 7 is like nothing. You know, I remember sending in cards that I thought were 7 and 8s, and some of them would get 9s and 10s back in the 20 million era. I don't know about much before that. I wasn't in the game too much for PSA before that. But, you know, 40 million plus, usually those are pretty tough. I mean, there are some that aren't. It's going to be like that with any, but I think in general, 44 million is going to be a tough era. All right, so Ian Can. Hi, TCA Gaming. Just wondering what your predictions are in 2020 for Pokemon and economy, current and vintage sets. We saw a huge rise near the end of the year for vintage, and I'm doubtful the trend will continue, but perhaps I'm wrong and there is limited supply. I know Z&G did a video on his thoughts and PokeRev is stocking up, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. All the best for the new year, Ian. So, I mean, that's a really broad question. Maybe if we just focused on, say, the vintage part of that, I mean, the stuff should continue to increase. A lot of the players in the game, they're getting their vintage stuff and they're setting it back. And then you have other people, there goes stupid fly. Then you have other people who are just opening stuff. So the supply is always going down for the actual sealed product itself. So naturally, you know, the price is going to go up as long as, even if the demand just stays the same. But I think people are going to always be gearing towards the older, better stuff because it reminds them more of their childhood. The people from that era are going to have more money to spend. All right, so next up, I actually got to do this across 2 pages because, like I said, I'm going from bottom to top and then back page to front page. So Kyle McCormick, hey Rusty, I haven't been able to find the answer to this anywhere online, so here it goes. When it comes to WOTC booster packs, WOTC is Wizards of the Coast. That's all it stands for. What's the difference between a long edge pack and a short edge pack? Whenever I see them online, the long edge packs tend to be a bit cheaper. Is this because they are more common? Also, I never see booster boxes with long edge packs in. Why is that? Really appreciate your videos and hope you can answer. So, I think by the long edge, you're talking about like the long hanger packs. If you look in the middle of them, they've got like a little hole that you can punch out. That's what the blister packs basically were for a lot of the unlimited series for, I think it was Base, Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket. I can't remember if there's other ones. Base set 2 as well. And what you do is, I mean, they would just hang it directly. They'd hang the pack loose and everything. They just push it through that little long seal onto the metal clip, and you could pull the packs off in the store. And that's all it really was. As for price, Team Rocket should be more expensive because that's where you can get, well, we know that you can get Dark Dragonites in those packs. So it hasn't been confirmed from booster packs yet, but I mean, I've never seen a first edition long pack. So whenever somebody pulls a first edition Dark Dragonite era, that's going to be, you know, really cool because I'd like to see where that one comes from. But in general, the prices should be about the same. People have a tendency to find long booster boxes in counts of 72. So they're usually, when people buy them, they're trying to move them. Most of those sets are pretty easy to weigh out. So they're going to get the heavy packs, sell those, and then they're going to sell all the light packs for a discounted price. And that's what I see happening with the Fossil, Jungle, and the base set right now. They shouldn't really be any cheaper because they are more rare. And you're not going to find those in booster boxes because those were never meant to be opened and sold individually for resale. All right. Yoshi Fire 8. Are you religious? You know, I guess I am. For me, it's more about a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's not so much about, you know, doing the exact same thing over and over again. It's about trusting in God. So, I mean, you can take that for whatever you want. I actually like the song that's, I think it's by Toby Mac. I think it's Toby. It might not even be Toby Mac. It might be someone else, but it's more like Falling in Love. I think it might be Jason Gray. But it's called More Like Falling in Love. And one of the lines says, all religion ever made of me was a sinner with a stone tied to my feet. It never set me free. It's got to be more about falling in love. And so that's probably, I would associate myself more with a relationship with Jesus Christ rather than, you know, just being religious and that being it. Because I think that's where you can get into trouble, where you're just doing the same thing over and over again. and it doesn't change who you are. Next up, we have Kyle Cow, K-O-W. As a student, is spending quite a lot of money on Pokemon cards, hoping one day I may at least have a good amount of money invested. Do you think it's really a stable investment buying cards? I buy vintage and new cards and just keep them in my binder. I mean, it can be. I mean, it was for me. When I went back to college, I mean, that's basically what I started. I had nothing. You know, I mean, when I went off to college in 2008, I mean, I got in because my family was technically really poor. I mean, we were 200% below the poverty line. I got all kinds of grants and stuff, and I actually got a few scholarships because I think my weighted GPA was like 4.7. I mean, I had all A's. I mean, it's not like I was dumb or anything. I could get in about wherever I wanted to, but the difference between me going to UNC Chapel Hill and NC State was $300. I'm actually a Chapel Hill fan, and Chapel Hill's a much better school, but for me, $300 was $300. So I ended up going to NC State. And when I went there, I had literally, I think it was just the original 3 sets, which at that time you could buy complete fossil sets on eBay for like $5 to $15, the full set. I mean, no joke. And you could win them all day in auction. Same thing with Jungle. Base set was usually about $25 or so. And I just needed a few cards. You know, it was like an Articuno and some other cards. And so to get them, I sold some of my extras. And that's basically what turned into a business for me. So I originally had binders. I just set them back. I collected them because I liked them. And then I wanted to finish out certain things. It was my collecting, you know, matured into investing through me wanting to, you know, continue my collection itself. So I think putting them in a binder, as long as you know, have some kind of value to hold them for time, it's good. I mean, the new stuff is going to take a while to mature in value. The older stuff is going to be a lot quicker. But like S.M. Pratt says, what is it? The older, the rarer, the minter, the better. I mean, that's where you're going to see the biggest growth. I mean, there's certain cards, you know, that haven't moved. I mean, you got Weedles that, you know, you could sell for 99 cents on eBay back in the day, and you could probably still find them for 99 cents on eBay. Sure, the mint copies might bring $2, $3, $4, but you know, just regular Weedle that you find average collection really hasn't seen any movement. And it's the same age as a Charizard, but that doesn't mean it's going to move at the same pace. Okay, there's that sheet. So I think the replies are what's killing the distance on here. So let's see. The next one is from Yee Nation. How do I get a mystery box? You don't have them on eBay. And it looks like some other people went through there and replied. In fact, I may have replied a little bit myself. But if you want a mystery box, you can email me. If you contact me on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere like that, I'm not going to respond as fast. I'm probably going to redirect you to my email. You can get them on eBay, but they're TCA gaming boxes. They're not mystery boxes. And I technically put a few guidelines in there, but for the most part, they're still mostly a mystery because I'm like, oh, you get a 10, you get 3 packs, and you might get a PSA card, but you're going to get more than that because it's going to be around whatever value you pay. All right. Next up, we have Migs. Does Beckett BGS grade Chinese Pokemon cards? I have a Chinese Hidden Fates Shiny Charizard GX that I would like to send graded, but I don't know if they would accept it. Yes, it is a legit cards, but I haven't seen anyone who sent Chinese Pokemon cards graded, even though they were legit cards from the Pokemon Company. Thanks. I don't know. I've sent in just a few submissions with Beckett, and I will tell you they're pretty flexible with what you send in. As long as they think it's a real card, I think they're going to grade it. For me, I didn't have any problem with all those cards that I sent in. I mean, I sent in FPOs, match prints, square cuts, a ghost stamp, inverted stamp, you know, misaligned stuff. I mean, they're all like technical errors, but I mean, they didn't give me any trouble. So I would say that you're going to have a better chance with them. PSA, I don't think grades anything past base set that's like non-English other than Japanese cards. And I could be wrong on that too. I mean, I just don't submit that many in Chinese. I've never submitted so. Brian James asks, should Pokemon go the sports card route and have short prints? We already have parallels in the form of full arts and rainbow rares. I love to reintroduce exclusivity back into the hobby. We haven't had that since first edition stamps and gold stars. I think Pokemon should absolutely have some kind of variance between the initial run and reprints. The first edition stamp would solve all that. I mean, you have all these people who paid up for their Hidden Fate stuff to get it right at the beginning. And people love that set. And people still love the set. It's got the same stuff in it, but it's identical to the very first print now that they've had this huge, massive reprint where anyone and everyone can get whatever they want from Hidden Fates. That's just, I think, a text message. So for me, if they put a first edition stamp on the initial run for where people are actually engaged in the hobby right at the beginning, trying to, push those extra sales, right when something comes out, then, it's going to be rewarding to the collector. It's going to be rewarding to the people who are wanting set cards. Because then after that, you can stop with the first edition print and just do unlimited like they did back in the day with WotC. And, everyone's happy. The people who were there in the beginning got their first edition stamp. You can't have any more of those printed. So the prices you paid is worth it. I mean, I buy a ton of product from Pokemon distributors, and I'm considering stopping buying it altogether just because there's no point. I can just wait until it's basically nothing, and I'm buying it as bulk off all these people who bring cards to me for $1 or $2, rather than I have to rush in the beginning, pay full retail, if not more, do all this extra work to get PSA 10 cards out, at the very beginning, just to be undercut a few weeks later if it doesn't sell, by someone who, paid $1 for the card, basically, when they've got it in bulk, or, somebody's offering it to me in a sale. So I think they should definitely do some kind of exclusivity to the very first print. First edition stamp would be the simplest way to do it. I would think anyways. I don't know all the logistics on Pokemon side for it, but I hope they do consider it. And I know there's one guy going around. He's doing a petition, and I was the first guy to sign it. I guess after him, and I put the first comment down there because I think it's important in Pokemon. Hopefully, we'll listen to people that are making noise about it. I don't have the time to do it myself. All right, so next up we have Pokemon 777. If you had to get rid of all your personal collection, and let's say you could only keep the top 5 cards / sealed product, what would those be, and why are they special to you? Money isn't the focus here because obviously First Ed, base booster boxes, and Charizards would be the answer. I don't know. It's kind of tough because I still connect with a lot of stuff that is really rare because I worked so hard to get it. Like my base First Ed box, when it turned out to be resealed, that sucked. That's going to be one of my main goals this year. I've got several goals that I'm working on, and that one, it's going to be a target for me because I want to complete my sealed booster box collection, and without it, I have a big hole there. I guess if maybe unique items that I pursued for so long, there's the magical clocks. I've got 3 of those, but that was tough for me to get. I saw it. Rock Carolina had one when I visited him in Raleigh, and I just liked it. And then it took me forever to get one because I kept passing up because they always kept increasing in price. So finally, I got one. And then right after I got one, I ended up buying another one for really cheap as well, like a couple months later. So it was kind of insane. But I've got 2 of those, basically straight in their box. One of them's never even been used. Both of them have the original boxes. That'd be one item. Another item would be the legendary collection proofs that I have for the lava, which is labeled, I'm looking at it now, magma, and the storm, and it was turmoil. So you had turmoil and lava, but I have the theme deck uncut sheet proofs where they actually say magma and storm, and they're printed on the Neo Destiny theme decks. Some of you have seen those, but for me, those are really unique items that'll probably never come out again. I'm so glad that they were saved. Ancient Mew uncut sheet, that was really tough for me to get off of the print production manager. It took me a while. It took a lot of money from me at the time to get it. The Shadowless test sheets, I like those. You guys got a glimpse at them. And then maybe the base set uncut sheet with the upside down backsides that has the Charizards and all the 15 regular base set hollows. And there are other things too. Those are just 5 off the top of my head. There's so many things that I like, but I'd love to keep those if I could. I think uncut sheets to me are really impressive because you can frame them up and you can put them on a wall. All right, so next, B-Boy Namulus. Who is your favorite Pokemon? I like Charizard. One time Kabuto, because I think it was technically the first card that I had from Fossil. I believe I was in 5th grade. I was right at 10 years old, around the year 2000, 1999. And might have been 4th grade. But we used to buy cards for 50 cents a piece off of people in school or on the bus, and Kabuto was the first one that I got. So, Ethan Bodo, what's your best profit or flip on a Pokemon item? Well, I guess if you're looking at short term, I don't know. There's been lots of stuff that I've flipped really quickly, like Ancient Muse, like in bulk. But I guess profit margin, maybe the FPOs. When I got those, I bought those packs for roughly $50 each, and when I'd bust them open, you know, I'd get 1,500 or more out of the cards that were inside. And then the individual cards I bought for like $3 a piece, 3 to 5 maybe. Maybe it was 5. Maybe it was 5 to 10. It was definitely not more than 10 because I got a whole stack of them, and you know they were selling for $3,000 a set of 7 or 8 cards. So I mean that was really quick money, and it was basically all profit. I never expected the prices to go where they have, and I wish I'd held on to some of them a little bit more. I remember selling one guy like 40 Charizards or something, or maybe it was 20 Charizards. I'm trying to remember. I don't know, it was a lot of money. And, you know, that stuff was a once in a lifetime kind of find. I just got the stuff for free. He pulled it out of the shredder. It looked like regular Expedition Charizards that just had 4 position only on it. And, you know, when I showed them to the community, they loved it. And it took off, and then everybody wanted some of them. The match prints were kind of the same way, but I didn't have as much quantity for those. And looks like that's my alarm. So this will be the last question for this video. We'll do another week. We're on the 3rd page. Yeah, so this is going to take quite a few, and I'm not going to sit here and talk for 2 hours. That's just kind of crazy. But I would say the FPOs. FPOs were definitely my biggest profit margin. I mean, but there are times when I get commons and uncommons that are basically free, and over time they'd sell. I mean, you got the World Championship decks every year that sell really, really good. They, I'm not selling them anymore. I'm selling them on Troll and Toad, but there's a huge markup in that for a retail product. It's a consistent retail product that comes out every year, and you can count on making money. But anyways, good question. Thanks, guys. I appreciated those. I'm going to go through the rest of these. I'm going to do some more videos. Thanks.